Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, I just got off a video hangout chat not too long ago with Jeffrey MacArthur, and so he'll probably post that up on his channel at some point, where we just kind of have a rambling discussion about our histories and what have you. It's always neat to talk to somebody, from the first wave, first generation of players, because I'm really arguably like maybe second wave, um, but it was cool. And today I'm going to talk, make a video response, kind of, to I guess we'll call him a third wave player. Robert the Narrator had another great video. I think it's number 12 in his series, where he talks about the inspiration mechanic in 5th edition D&D. So this really isn't about that, really, but it's about, what is a grognard like me, specifically me, because it's a channel about me. Remember that? Think of the mechanics like that, like style points in the Ubiquity, powered games, like, Hollow Earth Expedition, Desolation, Leagues of Adventure, All for One, all those games. Some of your style points in that particular game, or like fate points, or I think like hero points. I think in Barbarians of Lemuria, or the inspiration mechanic. So give you kind of like my take on it, at the very least, and why like I'm in favor of it. To be quite honest with you, I like that little extra bonus for role playing. So. And that's something that grew on me over time. So arguably Robert makes the point that it definitely is like something that they took from the storytelling type games, because Wizards of the Coast isn't stupid, So it kind of makes it a little more hybrid-ish. So if you don't know, the way a lot of those mechanics work is at character creation you declare that the character has some kind of motivation or personality or flaws, and if they have bonds with things, you pretty much list out like what is this character's personality like in general, what makes them tick, good and bad and ugly and the whole 9 yards. And so then when you role play your character, the way they would have done stuff, then you'll get these little points which you can then cash in later on. And so there's ways this works that I don't like, and there's ways that these other games have it work that I do like. So the way that 5th edition D&D has it work is you get you have inspiration, and then later on you can cash this inspiration in to use advantage on a die roll. And if you don't know how that works, when it would be a D20 roll, you roll 2 D20s and you take the highest one. And I have a video about how the math of that works, and it's a little wacky, but it's advantageous to use that. Something like Ubiquity does, in a way that I like even better, where they give you what's called style points, and you can cash these style points in a variety of ways. You can cash them in, I think, like a 2-for-1 basis to mitigate damage, so like the damage just never happened. And you don't have a lot of what you would call hit points. It's called health, I think, in that game. They never go up, so that's a good thing to mitigate damage. It really is. You can also use them to improve your chances of performing a particular skill, and so on a 1-for-1 basis. Although, like, to buy successes, you really want to buy 2 dice because they're binary dice, pass fail. So you want to spend as many style points as you possibly can if it's a really important roll. I like the way games that do that work, because you're not buying success. You're increasing your chances of success. In the Ubiquity system, especially, the idea is that you're really putting like effort into it. A lot of the other skills that when you have a skill rating at a certain level and your average, you just say might be 3 successes, that represents you not breaking a sweat. Throwing style points in there, represents you really putting your all into it. And you earn these style points to role play. So you kind of have this, you can bank up, some style points. 5th edition D&D, as far as I know, does not let you bank inspiration, which is kind of a flaw in that game. I think if I were to play it or use it or steal it for another game, another version of D&D, I would let you bank inspiration every time you did something like that. Maybe give you another inspiration point, because otherwise it's clear that you would use it only in certain situations. And I'd rather have it flow more like style points if I were to use that mechanic. The way that some games do it that I don't particularly like as much is where you're buying success, where or you're buying just a flat-out reroll. Like, you roll the dice, you fail, man, this sucks. Okay, I want to use one of my points. I think 7th edition Call of Cthulhu has something like that, and I misquote it exactly, but you can reroll again. And I don't know if it's through a point or whatever, but you know what I mean. That there's games that definitely let you do that. There's other games that let you have some kind of some narrative control, which is not terrible. Like I watched a video today, with Tim Harper talking about Barbarians of Lemuria and talking about hero points. And because he texted me like, or messaged me out of the blue, what do you think of this game? And I'm like, I haven't really checked it out yet. And so I went and checked, some of that stuff. And so, yeah, the points, the hero points in that game, I think you can use to buy extra successes flat out. But you can also use, I think it's some kind of narrative control where the game master still has, they can edit it and say, no, that's, okay, try again. But that's neat. But I my personal preference for using something like those, style or inspiration is to just, buy extra chances for success. But got a little long-winded there, But what I really wanted to talk about was the idea that, I don't necessarily think it's a terrible idea to reward players for role playing. And it doesn't have to be acting, because I'm not a thespian at the table. I'm really not, occasionally, but not too much. More just for ha-has. But if my character is a particular way and I have him act that way, whether he's an altruistic or whether he's a jerk, whether he's out for himself, whether he's bound by honor, or whether he's annoying, impulsive, whatever it is, I like to have him act that way, and getting a little extras from the game master, because you've role played your character in that manner. I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't. I think Robert talked about the idea that some old school people don't like to bribe their players to role play. I don't mind it so much. It's not so bad. To me, it makes the game more interesting. And the whole idea of like something like the ubiquity style points, which just grow on me more and more. The concept is that in those clutch situations, then you get to go spend these things, and you're not buying success. You're just buying a greater chance of success. So I don't know, for as a grognard like me, who it took a while to warm up to like anything else, but the games I liked, I don't really mind it, to be quite honest. That doesn't bug me. Maybe I think fifth edition could have done a little better in terms of letting you bank more. I don't think you need a heck of a lot of prompting, because to use them, I think it's just a matter of once as a game master and a player, you get used to that whole idea. Because to be honest with you, as far as I can tell, the Ubiquity books don't talk an awful lot about the style points. It mentions them once, and then it's up to the game master and player to remember to use them. So anyhow, I know Complex Games Apologist also did a response to this, which I just watched a little bit of, and he was talking about the idea that the books don't talk about prompting you very much, just in one spot in the player's handbook. But I don't know. That's my take on it. I think it's a decent mechanic. I don't have an issue with it. I approve this message.